You ordered a dress from Shein for 12 euros. It arrived in 8 days. No customs fee, no duty, no paperwork, just a package at your door for 12 euros. Now, imagine doing that same order in August 2026. Same dress, same factory in Guangzhou, same shipping route. Except this time, there is a customs declaration, there is a duty charge, there is a handling fee from the logistics operator processing your package, and the total cost of that 12-euro dress is no longer 12 euros. The EU just changed the rules, and the people who are going to feel it first are not Shein, not Temu, not AliExpress. It is the small business owner who built their entire model around cheap imports. It is the logistics company now drowning in paperwork they never had before. And yes, it is you, every time you open your shopping app. Here's what's actually happening and why nobody's explaining it honestly. 3 things we are getting into today. What the EU de minimis rule actually was and why killing it changes everything about how goods flow into Europe, who gets hurt and how badly because the impact is not equal. Some businesses survive this, some do not, and the difference comes down to one thing. And the question nobody's asking, is this actually about protecting European businesses or is there something else driving this decision entirely? We are getting into all of it. Stay with me. Here's what most people never knew existed until it was about to disappear. The de minimis threshold, a rule that said if a package entering the EU is worth less than 150 euros, it gets a pass. No customs duty, no import VAT processing at the border, just through, fast, free. Now this rule has been in place since 1988, nearly 4 decades, and for most of that time it barely mattered. The volumes were manageable. Cross-border e-commerce was small. Nobody was ordering millions of $8 t-shirts from the other side of the world. But then Shein happened, then Temu happened, then AliExpress scaled. In 2024 alone, the EU processed 4.6 billion low-value parcels. 4.6 billion! 91% of them came from China, and almost every single one of them entered Europe duty-free under the de minimis exemption. To put that in perspective, that's roughly 12.6 million packages per day entering Europe without paying a single euro in import duty. Every day. The EU Commission's own figures show this costs European governments an estimated $10 billion in lost tax revenue annually. And European retailers, the ones playing by the rules, paying VAT, paying duties, paying wages, were competing against products that arrived with none of those costs baked in. Valdis Dombrovskis, the EU's former executive vice president for trade, put it bluntly. He described the current system as one that had become a major loophole that distorts competition and deprives member states of significant customs revenue. So, from July 1st, 2026, the exemption is gone. Every package, every parcel, every $8 t-shirt and $3 phone case, full customs clearance, full duty assessment, no exceptions. Now, here's where it gets real. Shein's revenue in Europe in 2023 was estimated at over 5 billion euros. Temu launched in Europe in 2023 and acquired over 75 million European users within 18 months. These are not small operations. They have legal teams, logistics infrastructure, and the financial muscle to absorb regulatory change. They will adapt. They will restructure their supply chains. Some of their prices will go up, but they will survive. The small business owner will not have it so easy. Think about the independent fashion reseller in Warsaw buying 200 units from a Guangdong supplier at 6 euros a piece, marking them up to 18 euros and selling them on Instagram. Their entire margin, their entire business model was built on that 150 euro duty-free threshold. From July 2026, those same 200 units now attract import duty, customs clearance fees, VAT at the point of entry. The cost per unit goes up, the selling price has to follow, and the customer who was paying 18 euros now pays 24 euros or goes back to buying directly from Temu. Carolyn Beerthuizen, policy director at Thuiswinkel.org, the Dutch e-commerce association, said the change will fundamentally reshape the competitive landscape for small and medium online retailers across Europe. She's not wrong. And then there's the logistics industry. 4.6 billion packages a year that previously flew through customs with minimal processing now require individual declarations, individual assessments, individual handling. Now the ones who are already hiring, already investing in automated customs declaration systems, already briefing their clients on what's coming, are going to be very busy and very well paid. The ones waiting to see what happens are going to be overwhelmed. Now, I promised you a question nobody's asking, because there's something underneath this story that the headlines aren't covering. Something that makes this about more than just customs revenue and level playing fields. I'll get there, but first, let's talk about the consumer, because you're the one paying for all of this at the end of the chain, and the numbers might surprise you. A study by the European Consumer Organization, BEUC, estimated that the removal of the de minimis threshold could increase the average cost of a low-value import for European consumers by between 30 and 50% when all fees are included. 30 to 50%. That $12 dress becomes 16 to 18 euros. That $25 electronics accessory becomes 33 to 38 euros. And across 4.6 billion annual purchases, that's a significant shift in the spending power of European consumers. Monique Goyens, Director General of BEUC, said the change risks hitting lower-income consumers hardest, very people who rely on affordable imports to stretch their household budgets. That's a real concern, and it deserves to be said clearly. But here's the question nobody's asking loudly enough. Why now? Why July 2026 specifically? The EU has known about the de minimis loophole for years. The volume problem was visible in 2021. The revenue loss was documented by 2022. The competitive distortion complaints from European retailers started in earnest in 2023. But the rule change was announced late in 2024, and it doesn't take effect until July 2026.
So here's where things stand. From July 1, 2026, the cheapest way to shop online in Europe gets more expensive. Small businesses built on low-cost imports face their hardest year. Logistics operators face their highest volume challenge. And consumers face higher prices on goods they've been buying for years. Whether that's the right call, whether protecting European industry and customs revenue is worth the cost to consumers and small businesses, that is a political question, and Cargo Intel does not answer political questions. What we can tell you is this. The businesses that prepare now, that talk to their customs brokers today, that reprice their products before July, not after, that communicate with their customers before the change, not when the complaints start arriving, will be in a fundamentally different position from the ones who wake up on July 2nd wondering what happened. And that brings us to the question we want to leave you with today. If your business currently depends on low-value imports from outside the EU, what is your plan for July 2026? Not what you're hoping happens, not what you think might get delayed. What is your actual plan? Because July is coming, and the invoice, as always, does not care whether you were ready. That is what Cargo Intel is here for. The policy changes moving through your cost base before they arrive at your door. Subscribe, share this with a business owner who's still hoping this gets reversed.